Hey there, welcome to Authentically Raw. I'm your host, Jamie Berris. Have you read the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey? Well, if you haven't, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend listening to the audiobook because Matthew himself speaks and wow, it is amazing. So this episode really doesn't have anything to do with his book other than the fact, the whole green light thing. If you've read it, you know, but if you haven't, he tells about all the trials, tribulations, trauma in his life, and yet he makes it through. And then he says, green light is awesome. So I got to thinking about green flags because I feel we are always warned about red flags to look out for in people. And it's a good thing because we do need to steer clear of certain people and protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. But I also feel that we get really caught up in the red flags in people. And if we look for more green flags in people, then possibly we will be drawn to that sort of person. If we ourselves are full of waving green flags, we project that energy out and we automatically attract more healthy, genuine, caring people into our own lives. And I think we just need to seek more green flags than we do red flags. So I came up with a list of 12 green flags to look for in people, and I want you to flip this towards you. Are these green flags waving inside of me? Number 1, green flag. These are the type of people that are generally happy for other people's success. Whatever good is going on in someone else's life, whether it's that goodness is a success in their relationships, maybe they have thriving friendships, a great marriage, could be in their career, it could be in their goals that they achieved, in say maybe their physical fitness, or how they were finally able to take their dream vacation or buy the house. Are other people truly happy and excited for your successes, the goodness going on in your life, and your wins? Those are green flag people. Number 2, they would mention your name in a room full of opportunities. Why? Because they're secure in themselves and they understand that your success is not their failure, and that there is enough success and opportunities to go around, and they will do whatever they can to help you and support you in your own empowering, encouraging, and success. Number 3, they are not threatened by differing opinions and beliefs. So say they believe something and they have an opinion, a strong opinion or a mild opinion, doesn't even matter. A green flag is when if you disagree, they don't get upset. They don't feel threatened, and you can say, hey, well, I just don't agree. I have a different opinion, and they're good with that. And I guess it's a good question to ask yourself. Are you good with that? Is there a green flag waving for you when someone does not agree with you or has a different opinion? Are you good with that? Are you good with them being them and you being you? Number 4, they are comfortable admitting they were wrong. I get it. It's hard to admit when we are wrong. However, when we can be accountable for ourselves, it builds trust in relationships. When we can swallow our pride and be humble, that is a total green flag. And I don't know too many people that are drawn to people that constantly call each other out. Like, I'm right, you're wrong, and they won't back down. It's different. We're not kids anymore, but at some point we have to mature and admit when we're wrong. And it's a green flag to seek out in other people, and a definite green flag hopefully we can wave in ourselves. Number 5, they validate your feelings by letting you have your feelings without trying to convince you that you don't feel a certain way or you're bad for feeling something or wrong for feeling something. You can say, I feel this, and they're good with that. Or this is how I perceive it. This is my truth. And you don't get invalidated. So, definite green flag. Number 6, they are open to constructive feedback without becoming defensive or argumentative. Now, I did not say constructive criticism because feedback gives information gently and with kindness. Feedback helps, whereas criticism hurts. Feedback builds connection between two people because truly constructive feedback is another person being honest with you, and it can save you from harm. Whereas criticism, it just harms you. And even with the honest feedback, I don't really want people just to tell me what they think I want to hear, to spare my feelings in the present moment. And that's a big green flag when someone can gently say, hey, I think you need to know this, or I want to bring this to your attention. It shows they care. So I don't know about you, but I'm a pretty good judge of character, and you can usually tell when a person's motive is to truly help you or to harm you. So that is probably for me the biggest green flag is the whole constructive criticism. It shows that there is a connection between people. Number 7, they don't give unsolicited auto advice, which in my opinion, auto advice on a consistent basis, we all do it from time to time, not a big deal, but if someone is a chronic auto advice giver, I believe what that does to the person on the receiving end is truly robs them of their dignity. I don't know about you, but if someone is constantly giving me auto advice and telling me what to do, I completely tense up. And I will admit, just ask my family, I used to be a chronic fixer, which meant I did give a whole lot of auto advice. I would always jump in and say things like, well, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to say. Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you say that? And that is because we can't stand to see, other people either hurting or seeing them go through their problems. So we just want to quick jump in and fix it and give them our auto advice. But what it really does is it belittles people. I don't like it. They don't like it. And if you are really aware and you watch people get defensive. You can see people tense up, and it breaks connections between people. So a huge green flag is definitely if they're just not constantly giving unsolicited auto advice. Because one more thing on that, be careful, because it can often come across as condescending or shaming, like, duh, you're so stupid. This is what you should have done, just like I would have done. Anyway, number 8, green flag. They don't try to minimize other people's achievements by saying things like, oh, big deal, that's easy. Anyone can do it, or took you long enough, or, well, I could have done that. Basically, they just don't downplay. They instead say things like, way to go, awesome, tell me more about it. So green flag is, I guess you could say, they maximize people's achievements or just encourage and empower them and listen. Number 9, green flags, waving in other people. They take accountability for their actions instead of making excuses or trying to shift the blame to other people. And you know what? It may have been their fault, but it's your fault when we don't own our own part. So things happen, and yeah, sometimes something clearly is someone else's fault. But if you don't unhook from that, you decide to remain a victim to it. And when you decide to remain a victim is when you become blaming and fault-finding for staying stuck in whatever problem, argument, issue, whatever has come. You need to unhook, own your part, which could be super minor, but then move on. And I don't know about you, but this is probably the green flag I find the most attractive. I find accountability extremely attractive because it takes a really secure and confident person to own up. Accountability just proves that you keep your power over you and that, we don't allow others to have power over us. Huge green flag. Number 10, they respect your boundaries without trying to force you to comply or persuade you by guilty obligation. Maybe someone asks a request of you and you say, sorry, I don't have the energy for that right now. And then they come back with, they demand an answer. Well, what do you mean? Why? What are you doing? What do you have to do instead? Why? Well, why are you tired? It's none of your business. So that is a red flag. Someone that just can basically say, okay, thanks for being honest with me, that is a huge green flag. There's just no guilt-inducing statements. They don't demand for a reason, or they don't keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they beat you down. Thank you, children. I think most parents have been there before. I've had talks with my kids. My no is no, and I'm done with you pushing it until the point you beat me down and I say, yes, I'm not going to anymore. Oh, anyway, huge green flag when people show you enough respect by honoring your boundaries. Number 11, green flag, waving in other people and hopefully in you, is they don't try and one-up you or be in constant competition. At some point in our lives, I'm sure we've all had someone where everything you do, everything you say feels like a competition. They've been there, they've done it, they do it better. It's exhausting. It's draining. Green flag people just support and empower. Your excitement is their excitement. Healthy conversation pulls people up instead of pushing them down. Healthy conversation, yes. Now healthy competition also pulls people up instead of pushing them down. Number 12, lastly, green flag. People feel seen, heard, and understood in these people's presence. This is a huge green flag for me because I think giving someone attention is such an act of love. It says you matter. So who are those people in your life that when you speak, you have their full attention? You feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood. You're not talking to the top of their head because they are always staring down at their phone. Whoa, okay, think of yourself too. Because I know when I speak, when someone looks at me and we just carry on a conversation, it feels good. And they just understand what I'm trying to say. It feels good. I love to give that gift back to people. That's a huge green flag. And just acknowledging other people shows that you value them. And we are all valuable. And I get it. We all have moments where we're distracted, but let's just, in general here. So that wraps it up. That is my 12 green flags to look for in other people. And I hope that you flip that mirror and look within you. Do you wave those 12 green flags? As always, I'm rooting for you. Be real, be raw, be authentic. Thank you so much for being here as we kick off this podcast together. I really appreciate you joining me on this journey because I'm well aware you could be doing or listening to anything right now. Hey, if you enjoy the Authentically Raw content, please support the show by following, rating, and reviewing on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. You can also follow me on social media for daily inspiration. Head over to my website, jamieberris.com, to sign up for weekly transformation tips. Or if you're interested in coaching, I currently have 3 openings for one-on-one coaching. If you're looking for an empowering community, we'd love for you to join us in the Transformation Tribe, our group coaching membership. More info available on my website under the Life Coaching and Membership tabs. One last thing, I'm rooting for you. Be real, be raw, be authentic.